Welcome back to America's Commercial Real Estate Show. I'm Michael Ball. This segment is brought to you by CommercialAgentSuccess.com. It is the ultimate video training for commercial real estate agents. Check it out at CommercialAgentSuccess.com. And well, today we're talking about industrial real estate, which seems to encompass the economy, retail, everything these days, and also encompasses the ports, the logistics, how we're getting these products around the country. Well, please welcome my next guest, Bart Gobeil. He's Senior Director of Governmental Affairs and Economic Development with the Georgia Port Authority, and he's joining us on Skype today. Bart, good to see you again.
Good to see you again, Michael. Thanks for having us on.
So, Bart, it seems like the goods coming in and out of the country, coming in and out of ports like yours, could be a bit of an indicator of the economy and what's going on, especially with these tariff talks and things. What kind of volume are you guys seeing?
Yeah, we're seeing continued growth, and we get a lot of questions about tariffs and the potential impacts that they have. And of course, we're continuing to monitor those, what's going on. But there are certain things that we can't control in Washington, so we deal with what we know and we what the rules of the game are right now, and move forward within the current structure. But we're seeing a continued growth. Just alone in August, we were up 8% over our previous August in 2017. And then looking at July, we were up 12.5% over the previous July of 2018. So of 2017, excuse me. So we're seeing a continued growth pattern, and it just shows you how white hot the economy is right now. Even with all talks of tariffs and trade issues, you're seeing the consumer demand on both sides, and ports like us that are import and export balanced. You're seeing that continued growth and that continued demand throughout the world.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, to talk to you because you're there at that pivot point, import, exports, and you're talking to the players doing that. So any indications from discussions or contracts or movements with these companies as to what to expect moving forward?
Well, we're in the we're kind of gearing up for our peak season. We're kind of almost in the middle of it, as you can imagine, to get ready for that Christmas season. And we're seeing, and we take a look at what's on the water, what's coming in over the next couple of weeks, next month or so. Products just doesn't leave one country and show up here the next day, or vice versa. Mm-hmm. So we continue to prepare for that. And again, things seem to be continue to be positive for us and really throughout other ports in the United States, up and down on the East Coast as well as the West Coast, that they're continuing to hit record numbers or near record numbers like we have as well. And so there is a continued confidence level in not only the economy, but I think with certain trade deals that are kind of been announced on the national level, you're seeing that continuation.
Okay. And it seems like logistics is changing and becoming much more important these days. Everybody wants everything very fast. Seems like when you look at the trucking industry, seems like there's a lack of truck drivers. What are you guys seeing from your desk?
Sure, there is. It's you're seeing that retirement age for truck drivers, or the average age for truck drivers, kind of getting to that upper 50s, lower 60s number. And so, number one, what we're doing on the local level is working with our technical college systems and ensuring that there is a supply of truckers. But then on the national level, with certain federal regulations and electronic logs, we're having as an industry, and all industries, not just logistics industries, are having a little bit of difficulty filling positions in trucking. You see that a little bit at rates nationally as well. And so these electronic log rules mandate certain hours or limit certain hours for truckers. So as a result, what do we do then? We invest in other opportunities. We continue to invest in our friends in the logistics and trucking industry, but then also on the intermodal or rail side of things. So what we're doing here at the Georgia Ports is undertaking about a $160 million project to double our capacity for rail lifts. So we're going to move from 500 to 1 million 500,000 to 1 million lifts. This is a 3-year project. We received a grant from the federal government of about $40 million or so, and the rest are coming out of our capital. But what that allows us to do is to reach further into the United States. We build a full train here in Savannah, Georgia, that will ultimately get to and directly to Chicago, Columbus, Ohio, Memphis, Tennessee, and maybe even further west as well. So we're seeing how do we balance this trade on what products coming in and what's products going out on the docks, but then how are we getting it in and out of the gate as well into the markets throughout the United States. So we've seen, and as we announced that, we've actually seen continued increases in our rail or / intermodal usage in numbers here in Savannah.
Yeah, that's quite an increase and quite a big project. So you're talking about trucks earlier and the lack of drivers. So have you had a truck pull in yet without a driver, a driverless truck yet?
No, not yet.
That's got to be a spooky thing when that one shows up, right?
Yeah, it is, and that, it's one of those where. Well, what's driving what? Is it technology driving, or is it regulations driving the technology in the United States? And there's a lot of talk about it. There's a lot of not challenges, but of different things that folks have to go through from the local DOTs, the state DOT, and we've had a lot of people approach us to say, how can we help facilitate that, but I still think it's further on down the road. But there are some, kind of the platooning efforts and some other things where you can put folks in a cab and switch off to continue their limits or make sure they're under their limits of what they're allowed to drive per day. But no driverless vehicles have, or on the truck side of things, have shown up at the port. Mm-hmm. Be interesting if it did. I think we'd have a lot of questions of what's going on and how it got here.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting. So when my son sees a trucker and tries to get him to blow the horn, there's no one there. How does that driverless truck know to blow the horn, right?
Yeah. Well, blowing the horn at that point, you might want to get out of the way.
That's it. You might want to get out of the way. What about electric trucks? Have you seen those yet?
No. What we've seen, we have not. To be honest with you, we have some discussions here and there, but nothing on the electronic truck side as well right now.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. That would seem like potentially part of the future to have electric battery powered trucks.
Yeah, again, it's going to let to an extent let the market dictate that, and if where prices, how much of the costs are in the building the truck, maintaining the truck on electric side, but also are you where are you located, a non-attainment area, or different things going on with that on the federal regulations too.
Yeah. Well, what would you leave our audience with, Bart, related to the ports, logistics, and what you see?
Well, obviously logistics, we're continuing to grow. We're seeing a lot of on the investment side of things, on the e-commerce fulfillment centers. I think you're seeing that throughout the United States, and that's kind of an interesting aspect of workforce questions too, as things become more modernized and things within these fulfillment centers are much more automated. And how is that going to change the dynamics of how the logistics industry operates, especially when you have the on-time inventory to our end-use customers on the retail side of things. And so we're in a very good opportunity and at a crossroads for us in the logistics industries and on the port side of things as we continue to invest in our infrastructure, not only here in Savannah, but throughout the United States and other ports as well. So, we're keeping that balance of import-export. So we have a bright future ahead. And as technology moves into a heavy industrial industry like us, we're ready for that challenge.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, and I sure appreciate the opportunity to have toured the port down there with the CCIM group I'm with. It was very interesting to see the operation there.
Yeah, it's a fascinating it's a fascinating operation, and we have some good folks out on the terminal that keep it that way. Where you go and you show up in a store, a retail store, you get your product online. there's a massive workforce and supply chain behind that to make sure that you get the product you want when you want it. We are thankful for that workforce that we have and the commitment that our team has to our customers.
Yeah, thank you for that. Because if I go online this morning and order some animal crackers or something, I want them fast. Bart, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Yes, good to speak with you again. Thanks for having us on.
All right, thank you. And thank you for joining us around the world, around the country, or wherever you're watching or listening. We appreciate your comments, sharing the show. Let us know what you think, and share your comments. Until next week, be sure that you always lead, learn, and laugh, and join us for America's Commercial Real Estate Show.